Hi. So it's been 2 months now, 60 days, since I started to take nicotinamide mononucleotide as a daily supplement. And we're going to go through the data that I've gathered over the last 2 months. During our chat, I'm going to ask for some advice. There's been quite a large, in my opinion, movement in my biological age data, and I'm not sure if it should have moved that much in such a short period of time. So I'm questioning the accuracy of the machines that they use, that I can use at the gym for recording that data, and I'm looking at possibly another method or another avenue where I can get my blood tested, etc., to get a more accurate gauge of what my biological age is. So let's have a look at my 2-month records. Hi. Before we go through the 60-day stats, I'd just like to do a small update on the last video, food grade versus pharmaceutical grade NMN. My initial research led me to believe that the manufacturers make pharmaceutical grade NMN, and then if it's going to be put into capsules, they add the fillers, which then degrades the potency of the NMN or the product, whichever product it is. Thanks to someone who comments in the description of the video quite a few times, goes by the name of Biohaxxter. He informs me that the first product that is made is food grade, which is 97-98% pure. Once that has been made, then they continue the purification process to take it up to pharmaceutical grade. So if you're going to take food grade, 98% pure, and you're going to take it in powder form, then you can be sure that the product is 98% NMN. However, if they're then going to put fillers into it and put it into capsules, by law, remember we said that they don't need to tell you how much they put in and by how much they've degraded the actual product. So that's one of the things I wanted to get out of the way. If anyone listening has got different ideas on the way that food grade is made as opposed to pharmaceutical grade, then I would be more than happy to hear it. So I've got my NMN from China, and as soon as I've got the capsules finished, I shall start to take that, and I shall start up my dose to 500 milligrams. I'm going to take it sublingually using this small spoon for maybe 1 or 2 months, and to see what the effect is of taking pharmaceutical grade, because this is food grade, and also taking 500 milligrams a day, because at the moment I'm on 250. After that, I'm probably going to mix it in water, and I'm going to ingest it that way, just to see if I can see if there's a difference, because I'll have been taking 500 milligrams for at least 2 months. Why am I going to do that? Another person that leaves comments on the videos, and again, thank you very much for doing that, it's very much appreciated, goes by the name of Leslie, and she actually contacted David Sinclair and asked him a number of questions, and he replied to Leslie, which was very good of him, I thought, and he said that they only use food grade NMN in clinical trials, and there's no requirement to take it sublingually. Taking it through capsules is fine. That's the only way, or that's a way that you can raise NAD. And bottom line for this experiment, and the reason that everyone takes NMN, it is to raise our NAD levels, because we all know as the older we get, the less NAD is produced. So if it's good enough for David Sinclair, then it's good enough for me. So I'm gonna 2 months sublingually, and then I'm going to try 2 months mixing it in water to see if I get any differences. Another person that leaves comments in the comment section goes by the name of Swiss Trader, and also Alive by Nature, who seem to have set themselves up as the NMN pure powder experts in the field, and also say that sublingually is the only way to take it. This news and the tweet that everyone's talking about from David Sinclair may may send them into a flat spin, but I'm sure they'll get over it. So that's enough about food grade and pharmaceutical grade NMN. Let's go into the stats I've accrued over the last 2 months. So let's dive into the stats and the observations I've made over the last 60 days. Initially, I was wondering whether or not 60 days would be long enough for me to see any kind of change. And I was toying with the idea of maybe making it 3 months or 4 months before I started to record things. But I think that might be too long, because if there is going to be a change and I can find it after 2 months, then it will help me to record any changes that I make. So it'll give me more data. As to whether or not that's relevant, I'll find out as the months plough on. So the first thing then is my height didn't change, funnily enough. Weight, 92 kilos in April, and then in June, 92.4. So I put on maybe half a kilo. I thought I was actually going to put on more than that, because I've mentioned it in the comments of my videos and in other videos and other channels that I've watched, but I don't think I've said it. Although I'm British, I actually work in the Middle East, and during the last 2 months we've had Ramadan, so I freeze my gym membership there because we're not allowed to eat or drink in public. I did exercise, but I was exercising at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was doing a run, walk, Tabata type thing for half an hour, and I was doing that 2 or 3 times a week. It's May, June in the Middle East, and at 6:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, it's already 30 to 34 degrees. So although I was doing the exercise, I wasn't able to push myself as hard as I would have in the gym. So I thought with the reduced exercise and the same diet plan, I was going to put on quite a lot of weight, but it only seems to be half a kilo, which is interesting. My BMI has gone from 30 to 30.1, so I'm guessing that's going along with the increase in body weight. But my percentage of body fat is 23, and in April it was 23, so I've increased my weight. My BMI's gone up, but my body fat has stayed the same. So I'm not sure, and I spoke earlier about the machine and the equipment that they use in the gym, which as far as I can see is a metal plate you stand on, and you hold 2 sensors, and I'm guessing they pass an electric, not a shock, but an electric current through your body, and the measurements are carried out that way. Maybe they only do whole numbers in body fat percentage, so in April it could have been 23.1, and in June it could have been 23.9, but they only ever register as 23. So we'll see how that goes over the rest of the experiment. Muscle mass has gone from 53.1 to 67.6, and again, I haven't been doing any weightlifting. The only exercise I've done is running, so it would be my legs, and when I was doing the Tabata exercise, I was squatting, so my quads, but I can't see my muscle mass going from 53.1 to 67.6. That seemed a bit strange. My basal metabolic rate has gone from 2081 down to 2069. So that means the basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories I would burn at rest. So that's the only calories that I would use. So any calories that I eat beyond that on a daily basis, then I have to exercise to burn those calories off. My blood pressure was 122/73, and I've tested it a few times, and it's averaged out about 123, 124 over 73 or 74 again. So no real change in my blood pressure over the last 2 months. My waist, again, this I can't work out. My BMI's gone up. I've added half a kilo in weight, but my waist has stayed at 39. And I tried breathing in and pushing the tape, or making sure I wasn't breathing in, and it's still 38 and a bit or 39 and a bit, depending on what it is. So it's still 39 inches. So there's been no increase to my waist size around my belly button in the last 2 months. This is the one that I wanted to talk about and ask your advice, if possible, is metabolic age. So my metabolic age in April was 43. And looking at the stats, I've put weight on, but my body fat has stayed the same. My BMI has gone up a little bit, but my waist has stayed the same. But my metabolic age has gone from 43 to 46. Now I think add in 3 years to my biological age in 2 months, and the only way that could have happened, I think, is when I wasn't exercising for the full month of Ramadan. But then I think 3 years adding on to my biological age in 2 months doesn't seem very plausible. So after I've gone through the stats, I'm going to talk about this other method that I think I may be looking into to get a more accurate read of my biological age and my biological indicators. My visceral fat level has stayed the same at 12. My obesity degree has gone from 36.4 up to 37.1. But again, my waist size hasn't changed, so I don't know where my visceral fat has stayed the same, so I'm not sure where this obesity degree measurement is coming from. The dose up until now, for April, sorry, was 125 milligrams, and then in May I went up to 250 milligrams, and I've been taking that sublingually. It's capsules, but I've been popping them inside my lip, between my lip and my gum, and letting them dissolve. It takes about half an hour to 45 minutes. So I'm looking forward to the powder, because allegedly that dissolves a lot quicker. And then in June I'm going to go. In June I went up to 250 milligrams, and as soon as these tablets have run out, I'm going to be going up to 500. Mood. My mood has been much the same. There have been some people that have said that by taking or increasing NMN and ultimately NAD, it can increase irritability and things like that, but I have not seen any increase or decrease in my mood. No happier, no more depressed than normal. And my wife says she hasn't seen any marked difference. Still the grumpy old bugger I normally am. Overall feeling, much the same. Energy levels, again, much the same. I don't think my energy levels have improved. Training at the gym now that Ramadan is finished, it may be the placebo effect. I think I felt a little bit more energized. My diet stayed the same. I've been going to the gym at the same time. Maybe the month off gave me a new lease of life, and I've gone there with more enthusiasm. But I think my exercises haven't deteriorated in the way they normally would have if I'd not trained for a whole month. I'm not lifting exactly what I was lifting before Ramadan, but it's not vastly less. Sleep. In week 1, I had some real problems with my sleep. I was going to bed at 10 o'clock at the normal time, and I'm usually asleep by 10:30, and then I wake up at about 5:30, quarter to 6, and if I don't, my alarm wakes me up at 6, but 9 times out of 10 I'm always awake by about 5:30. For week 1 and week 2, in April and May, the first 2 weeks of taking it, which was in April and May, I was going to bed at 10, but I was waking up at 3:30 in the morning, and I couldn't go back to sleep. I would go downstairs, I would wander around, drink some water, go back to bed, and I would just lie there wide awake. And in the afternoons, I was tired, but I didn't sleep for the amount of time I'd lost the day before. So that was strange. That was only for the first 2 weeks. So it may have been taking NMN, because I've seen on other channels that have spoken about this, it can affect your sleep patterns, and it certainly did for the first 2 weeks. For week 3 and 4 in May, no problem at all. Bed at 10, waking up at 5:30 is normal. And then in June, normal sleep as well. So when I went from 125 to 250, there was no change in my sleep pattern. It'll be interesting to see now when I go from 250 to 500 if I'm finding it difficult to sleep at night. But it was not concerning, but it was definitely out of the normal for me to go to bed at 10 and be awake at 3:30 and wide awake and not needing to go back to sleep and not feeling tired all through the day either. It was strange. Diarrhea, opposite. In May, I was a bit bunged up, so I started eating more Brussels sprouts and more roughage, etc. By the end of May, that was okay, and in June, everything's back to normal. So I don't know if it was not sleeping that had that effect on me. I'm not sure, but no diarrhea, as some people have reported. For the first 2 weeks, although I felt slightly tired in the afternoon, that may have been because I was waking up at 3:30. I wasn't exhausted, but I was also feeling very, very hungry. So I noticed that usually when I get back from work, after I've eaten fat bombs at midday, when I break my fast, I would eat a bowl of nuts or maybe 2 or 3 scrambled eggs, and that would see me all the way through until my evening meal at 7. And for the first 2 weeks, it wasn't. I was having to eat 2 bowls of nuts or 2 bowls of nuts and eggs. I was actually feeling quite hungry in the afternoon, so my need to eat definitely increased for the first 2 weeks. In June, it was slightly different. So when I went up to 250 milligrams, I would come home, eat my bowl of nuts, slightly bigger bowl to see me through till the evening meal. Evening meal was 7, and I'm normally, that's it, I don't need to eat then, I go to bed at 10 and I'm fine. In June, I was eating at 7, but by 9:30, I was starving, really, really hungry. And not just, I'll have a cup of black coffee or I'll drink a small bottle of water to quench my hunger. It wasn't working. I was having to go into the fridge and eat more fat bombs or eat some more scrambled eggs. So that has died off slightly. What I'm tending to do now is eat slightly later, and I've upped the amount of protein in my diet and also the amount of vegetables, because I eat cruciferous vegetables at night, and instead of 1 cup I'm now eating 1.5, sometimes 2 cups. Also, I was usually at night I drink coconut oil. I do the thing they call pulling, which is supposed to overall benefits, but also helps with dental health. I've been doing that with a big mouthful of coconut oil, and I've been swallowing that as well to try and keep me full. But at the moment, the diet seems to be okay. One of the things I've added to the list that I didn't plan on doing was injuries. If my NAD levels are up and my body is that of a younger person, then my recovery from injury should also be quicker. So when I started training again, I injured a muscle in my elbow, and when I hyperextended it backwards, I would get a shooting pain there. I've had it before. It was incorrectly diagnosed as tennis elbow, and that took about 3 or 4 months to completely go away. I continued exercising, but with much lighter weights with the exercises that would aggravate it. I'm going to do the same. So it happened on the 9th of June. I'm going to continue training in the normal way with slightly lighter weights and see if it gets better quicker than the 3 or 4 months that it did when I injured myself last time, which would have been about 2 or 3 years ago. So that's it for the baseline stats. Nothing surprising, nothing exceptional. Confusing in that I didn't exercise fully for the month. I assumed I would put on a lot more weight than I actually did, but what has happened is my metabolic age has gone from 43 to 46. So I'll move this piece of paper to one side, and then we'll talk about what I'm going to do to try and get a more accurate, a more scientific way of gauging my metabolic indicators. So now my request for help or information off you, if possible. I'm not sure. Is it right that my biological age changes by 3 years, increases by 3 years over a 2-month period? And really, the only thing that changed in that 2 months was not doing as much physical exercise during the month of Ramadan. I can't think it's right. So I'm probably going to look for a more accurate way of recording that data. Although the machines and the equipment in the gym are very good and they seem reliable, and you can track your progress on exercises and all your body stats as you go along, I'm not sure that a 3-year jump in 2 months in my biological age is realistic. So I've been looking into a few companies that can analyze blood, etc., and give you markers on things like DNA and biological age. It's difficult because I'm in the Middle East. A lot of companies will not be able to do it because you can't ship blood, or they don't allow you to ship blood to places like the States to do that. I found a company called Inside Tracker, and I'll put the information up here. You may wish to go and look at their website. David Sinclair uses Tracker. I've found out recently that as well as using Tracker and recommending them, I believe he's also a backer. So he's got, I would say, a conflict of interest, but he's contributed to the setting up of the company. That said, lots of other famous athletes and sports stars use it to track their biological age and also their performance indicators. So I think it's quite good. If you've got the time, please have a look at their website. I have contacted them. I've been on web chat. They're happy that I can send my blood from the Middle East to America and it won't be affected. I'll continue to look at other companies. It's a little bit expensive, $300 and something per test. They recommend then that you do the test obviously 3 or 4 times a year, but it's up to you how many times you do it. So I'll do it once to see what it's like, and then I may do it maybe twice a year, maybe 3 times, if I think it's beneficial and the spending of $300 a time is worth it. So I'm just not sure. And please, if you think I'm being oversensitive, let me know in the comments below. I'm not sure my biological age should jump up by 3 years in less than 2 months. It's not alarming or concerning in any way, but it just seems a little bit strange. So that's it for my 2-month review. Please watch the video, watch it again, look at the stats that I've explained, listen to the questions where I've got concerns, and if you've got any advice, because I don't have all the answers, I've never professed to have all the answers. Any information, any guidance that you can give, your point of view is also very welcome. It'll help me on my journey, and also help you too. There's quite a few people now comment regularly on the videos, and I get a lot of information and a lot of benefit from that, so please continue to do that. So that's it for the first 2 months. Unless I do another video like the food grade and pharmaceutical grade NMN, I'll probably see you again in 2 months when I'll be doing the 4-month review. So thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.